Hello everybody, I've got a brand new DC update. Now, if you haven't already, please take the time to subscribe and hit that notification bell because I have a lot of content coming up, especially this weekend. I'm going to be recording a bunch of stuff today. I would like to release all of the videos today, but I can't because YouTube will only promote 3 videos a day. Now, I already had my Transformers Rise of the Beasts review go up this morning, so I can only do 2 more videos today. And this DC is going to be the first of the 2 that I can do. I will also be doing an update probably for Rebel Moon. And then tomorrow I should have a Star Wars and an Indiana Jones video going up as well, along with the review on that last McFarlane figure. So I've got quite a bit of content coming up this weekend, and if you aren't subscribed, you will probably miss one of those videos. So I do appreciate the support up to this point. I only have a few photos to show you. We're going to do the Flash Watch. We're going to see where it currently stands on Rotten Tomatoes, and we're going to talk about some of those reviews that also went up. But let's take a look at a few of these photos before we totally get into the Flash here. So real quick, I just wanted to show everybody this quick photo. This is back from 2014. Manu Bennett was at our Comic-Con here in Arizona, and I got to meet him along with Stephen Amell. So this was a fun event, and Manu Bennett was like, I think he was drunk. I don't know if he was drunk or not, but the guy was like ridiculously friendly, over the top friendly, and this was great to see both of these individuals because he was by far the coolest thing that they had in Arrow. Now, this is something that everybody reported on yesterday, and I didn't necessarily want to report on this because I already covered this in a video like weeks ago. Nothing has really changed. So we have Nicholas Hoult, I still don't know how to say his name, Cornsweet, and Tom Brittany are expected to test for Clark Kent, and that Emma Mackey, Rachel Brosnahan, and Phoebe Dynevor are testing for Lois Lane. Testing will occur around Father's Day weekend. This was reported by Deadline. Now, these are the same names that were going around, 2-3 weeks ago. So I don't think anything has changed. I didn't think this was breaking news. People put it out there like it was breaking news, and it certainly is not breaking news. These are the people that we were expected to test for Superman, and we'll see what comes out of this. I'm sure as soon as they cast him, they'll give us an update, and hopefully they will be sharing some stuff from the production because they are going to have to do something to get people excited because The Flash looks like it's headed for a disaster, and I think the next 2 films will also be headed for a disaster, and they need to do something to get the fans back on their side. And if they don't share stuff from this production quite quickly, I think people are going to get quite irritated if they aren't already. All right, let's see the next photo. All right, so this next photo I just threw in here. It's fan art. Obviously, this is taken off of Christopher Reeve, and he was the epitome of Superman. I think that this is an incredible picture. I'm adding this to my photo collection for DC stuff. I think this photo is awesome. I love the American flag in the background. This is a great photo of Superman right here. Now, this photo does have to do with The Flash, and I find this just freaking hilarious that Sasha Calle, Andy Muschietti are the face of The Flash's marketing. Now, I wouldn't say that Sasha Calle is. I mean, she's done a few interviews and everything, but I don't think she's like out there. And there hasn't been a whole lot of buzz. And in fact, she has the smallest role in the film. I wish they would have used her more. But it says here that Sasha Calle, Andy, and Barbara Muschietti are replacing Ezra Miller to be the forefront of the Flash marketing after Warner Brothers purposely not going to include Ezra Miller. With the titular star absence, the studio has invited celebrities including Stephen King, Jaden Smith, and Tom Cruise to early screenings to somehow promote the film, creating buzz online. Now, if you remember, all of these people said this was the greatest superhero film they have ever seen. The studio was touting it. David Zaslav himself came out and said that this was, he saw it 3 times and said it's the best superhero film he's ever seen. And obviously, by the reviews that we saw the other day, that is definitely not the case. And again, this is a mid-film. I've seen it. I do not think this is an amazing film by any stretch of the imagination, but they're going to do that to try and make as much money as they can. And I wish they would have supported Black Adam the way they're supporting The Flash. I think things would have gone much, much better. All right, so let's take a look at The Flash. My review, or my update today is going to be definitely The Flash heavy, because there hasn't been a whole lot of information coming out other than the stuff I already showed today. And we're going to see how this movie is tracking now. All right, so it's at 72%. And if you remember, they did tout this, like I said a few minutes ago, as the best DC film, in years since The Dark Knight. They say that about every movie, which is kind of funny. Now, the time on the movie is definitely longer than what I actually saw at the theater. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens with this film. But somebody pointed something out, and I thought this was interesting. Now, first of all, if we click on the reviews here, you could see that there's all critics, top critics, all audience, and verified audience. Now, this is the verified audience and all audience is getting interesting. They're only going to promote on Rotten Tomatoes the verified audience, as well as not just all critics, but they want to do top critics. Because top critics, are usually going to give it better reviews. But you can see here that's not the case with this film, and it's kind of funny. So let's take a look at this here. We're going to just look at the top critics for now. And what's funny is they gave it a positive score, but it says the story gets messy, multiple cameos, and a rushed intro for Sasha Calle as Supergirl. But I like how it follows Keaton's war cry, "Let's get nuts." That's his review of the movie. The story gets messy, and it does. Like I said, the story, the way it plays out is not, it doesn't flow well at all. Even in a vacuum or an alternate universe with no Spider-Verse or MCU, The Flash would just feel middling, and it does. But yet they gave it a good score. A bad score here. The film's parade of remember this in jokes makes it an opposite of a reset. It's more like a scratched record. Someone else said, although it's not without some fun moments, The Flash often substitutes cameos for genuine thrills, and a general aura of exhaustion hovers over all of it. Exhaustion. Again, that goes along with the frantic nature of the movie, where it seems to be all over the place and it just doesn't have a good narrative to it. Now, I'm not going to go through all of these, but what was really funny about this, and it looks like they took maybe some of these down, because a lot of these reviews the other day were talking about Miller's performance, or not even Miller's performance, but Ezra Miller as a person and the issues with the studio, rather than doing an actual review of the film itself. But this is not a good sign for this movie. It's just not. The reviews are absolutely all over the place. So, look at this. These reviews, the nostalgia factor will leave fans satisfied. The over-reliance on, not always perfect special effects, will leave most a bit winded. Yeah, they didn't fix the special effects, and this has been confirmed by a bunch of people that what we saw was pretty much it. That they didn't do anything, because I remember after they said the special effects were not done, like 2 or 3 days later, they came out and said they were done. I can guarantee you the special effects haven't changed, and people have been calling this out. Let's see here. It remains an entertaining sit and a real adrenaline shot for the DCEU, but after 90 minutes of zooming, bantering, and mourning, The Flash runs out of dramatic material. And it does. Like I said, they wanted to be dramatic with certain areas, but the movie is so silly, so much comedy, that it overtakes the dramatic nature of what they were trying to do. 144 minutes is way over the top for what we get. Muschietti's efforts seem only to function as a conduit for the many cameos stuffed into this movie. The Flash is, they just simply said, The Flash is a good DC movie. It just, yeah, you'll see a lot of people give it a positive score, is when they kind of bash it at the same time, which is interesting. A screwball sophomore comedy, there it is, that feels more like Whedon's brief venture into the DCU than a connected piece to what Snyder built, which is very, very true. So let's talk about these reviews, and I want to talk about something that somebody brought up earlier. You know, it's really funny because the other day that it was riddled with all kinds of reviews that were just bashing Warner Brothers and the character of Ezra himself, and it had nothing to do with the film. They weren't even reviewing the movie. Looks like they may have cleaned some of those up, but the score still remains at a lower, 72. And somebody brought up, and this was good, that there are 3 references, and I'm not going to say what they are, to this being, a direct follow-up to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I know Andy Muschietti said he had changed some things in the movie to make it, because he really loved that movie and he wanted it to be in line with it. And there are 3 references in there that I can confirm do tie it to Zack Snyder's Justice League. And so you can go in knowing that this is a direct sequel to Zack Snyder's Justice League to pay homage to it. Nobody likes 2017's theatrical release of Justice League. And not just the studio, but other directors said they want to erase that one kind of from history and make Zack Snyder's Justice League the blueprint that they go after. But all of this may be coming to an end after this film. There are supposedly 2 post-credit scenes, and I'm not going to spoil the second post-credit scene, but again, that second post-credit scene goes to show that the studio does not respect at least the people who made these decisions. And I don't know who made the decisions on these post-credit scenes, but it sure seems like it was James Gunn. It's his humor. It's his style. I don't see this being Andy Muschietti himself. I do believe that James Gunn had a huge influence over this. And again, it just shows the disrespect that these people have for these characters. All right, I do appreciate the support. We will see you on the next video.